Um, good day, guys. I don't know when this will be meeting you, but whenever I meet you, good day. My name is Ican Marvelous, and I'll be taking you guys on a case study. I'm a lecturer with Brain Edge Professionals, as you can see, and today I'll be taking you on. I'll be guiding you on how to write a report. Yes, so let's get into it. So I won't waste much of your time. Yes, okay. Now, case study, of course, as you know, is one of the courses in our final level, and it requires we being able to integrate all that we have learned all through our Ican journey into one course. And let me just talk about the way students perceive case studies. Students don't read case study like they read other courses in their, for example, the way the attention they'll give to corporate reporting, strategic financial management, advanced auditing, and advanced taxation. I can assure you that that's not going to be the kind of attention I'll be giving to case study. Case study most of the time is always led to 2 weeks before the exam, before they know that there's actually one course called case study. And why is that so? Because there's just this general perception that case study is because when you move to the package, you say, this one I can cover it in one day now. No, that's it. It's very simple. That's just what it means. Case study is very simple. But saying it is simple doesn't mean that it is not also technical. Because one of the reasons why a number of people have not qualified is because of that case study that some of us think that is simple. And of course, I went through that approach too. That just about some days to the examination, that I just knew that yes, I had one case study that I was preparing for. And of course, I feel that's what students actually do, because as much as they could just get one or two things that they need to get to write their case study paper, then they have it all already. That's just all you need, because case study, as you will see in the slide I'm presenting, is a combination of your performance management, corporate reporting, CSMA, financial reporting, strategic financial management, auditing, taxation, and the likes. And just to say all the courses that you have done so far. So what the examiner is looking for is to test your knowledge base now as regards all these topics, to test now that you're going to become a professional accountant, and not just a professional accountant, a chartered accountant with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He wants to test how well you could act as a professional, and not just how well you could act as a professional, how well you can think as a professional, and also put down your thoughts in form of report as a professional. And so it is not just about I understand performance management, I understand corporate reporting, I understand all these topics. It's about how you could think as a professional and also put down your report as a professional. Now, you note my emphasis: put down your report as a professional. And that's what has led to a number of failures for students, because case study involves writing a report, and the report will actually follow certain format. The examiner is looking for you to be able to put in certain professional thoughts, for example, your professional judgment, your professional criticism, skepticism, as I would say, and also put in your ethical test to certain issues that will appear in your case study scenario. Okay, so before I proceed to the next slide, I just want to let you know, for those of you that don't know, that your pre analysis will be held 2 weeks before the examination, and you'll be expected to understand, digest, assimilate the pre-scene scenario that will be given to you, so you could go and destroy the examination. And I think that's one advantage. Having the pre-scene analysis, you could forecast whatever will be coming out, especially from, there's a way to even do that, which I discovered, but we will get there later. So let's move on. Now, your case study, if you look at your pack, it involves 3 basic things, which is your financial statement analysis, your financial data analysis, and the business analysis. Financial statement analysis involves your ratio analysis, trend analysis, common sense analysis, just trying to understand a company from the state of a company from the financial statement that have been given to you. So in your case study scenario that will be given to you, you will actually have you have financial statements. Mostly it's always management accounts. So you would have financial statements. It could be of course, you would have your statement of profit or loss, you have your statement of financial position, and sometimes you can be provided with your statement of cash flows, and sometimes also statement of changes in equity. and also you have notes to the accounts, of course, that should be there. So now you're expected to analyze those financial statements, and from your analysis of those financial statements, you should be able to, as a professional, state the affairs of that company in terms of its liquidity, in terms of its solvency, in terms of profitability, in terms of capital structure, leverage, and so on. So you should be able to analyze financial statement. And of course, you would have known that this topic would have been treated in your financial reporting and also your corporate reporting. So if I thought you have missed that, or you need to put yourself again in remembrance of that, then probably you need to go and study that again, financial statement analysis. Now let me go to the financial data analysis. Now your case study report would actually need you as a professional to examine certain business proposals, as it were, or decisions that need to be taken, and also give your recommendation. Now, of course, you won't base your recommendation on an empty space. Let me just put it that way. You need to have some information that you could analyze, and upon your analysis, you could give a recommendation. That's your recommendation will draw from your conclusion that you derived from the information that was provided to you. So that's where financial data analysis comes in. So it is not financial statements in this case; it is financial data that you need to be able to give a recommendation on whatever business decision that management needs to take. So that's financial data analysis, and this mostly would have to do with bringing in your knowledge of performance management, your knowledge of strategic financial management. So sometimes it could be an investment. For example, the last diet, that was November 2020 diet, where that was Dotmark Nigeria PLC, and Dotmark Nigeria PLC was considering investing in Tito factory, and they had to use investment appraisal, which was NPV. So that's already what you know that you'll find in performance management, you'll find in strategic financial management. Also, they had to, for the second scenario was Faith Business Group of Schools. You could check that out. Yes, so they had to use short-term decision making for under performance management, where you'd have to use your price structure, contribution, depending on whether to outsource, all those kind of things. So that was what the analysis that was applied to the financial data that was provided to them. So you need to ensure that you have a good grasp of PM and also your strategic financial management. Of course, you don't need the truth is it will not be as bulky as when you wrote your performance management or strategic financial management. You just need to apply the basic. For example, when I wrote my performance management, I go to the exam hall, and on the first side of the question, you'll be like, that's what students basically face. On the first side of the question, you'll be like, what are they asking me to find? What are they asking me to find? Like that. Until you sit down well and read the question and ensure you understand the question. I assure you, for your case study, it won't be like that. It's gonna be very, very simple. That you could, once you understand the basic, you can just apply it, and you're gonna get your financial data analysis. Now, business analysis. This is students need to be careful, because okay, let me before I say that, let me just say what business analysis is about. Business analysis is mostly incorporates your knowledge of CSME. Let me put it that way, where you would have to bring in your Porter's 546, Porter's diamond, your SWOT analysis, your hands-off matrix, your what they call this gap analysis, and different things like that. So business analysis is trying to understand the information that has been given to you to be able to state, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and other things like that. But you need to be very careful, because the examiner has noticed something, that students are always applying business analysis in every diet. Whereas it might not be needed according to the requirements. We'll get there, because you need to be very careful. One thing is, when we are learning our case study, in our rush to learn case study, we just gather information from different places. Like I said earlier, 2 weeks to the exam, that's when we just start preparing for case study. And so we're just looking for information from everywhere possible, from this quarter, from this quarter, from this quarter. So we get all the information possible, and we just get to the exam. We want to pour everything down. Is it not these 4 hours? We are going to deal with these 4 hours. But let me just tell you that you need to be very, very careful. Even after doing your pricing analysis, ensure that when you get into the into the exam hall, you look into the requirements, and whatever notion that has entered your brain from your business analysis and doesn't correspond with the requirement, just ensure that you erase and delete it off. You format that notion, because if you do anything that is outside of the requirements, you're wasting your time. And let me tell you, your 4 hours is is enough. Let me just put it that way. It's enough, because you know when it goes off. So you ensure that you're doing the relevant things. And that's what I'm going to take you through in this case study, this presentation that I'm making. I'm going to take you to how to do the relevant things and leave out the irrelevant things, so that you can maximize your 4 hours. You're not going to waste it. And even sometimes you could have a rest. You get, I didn't have a rest when I did mine. I the 4 hours was overwhelming. Let me just put it that way. So the case study will require you to do your financial statement analysis, your financial data analysis, and your business analysis. Don't worry, your requirements will guide you on all that, but most assuredly you will always find a financial statement analysis. It has always been. You always find a financial statement analysis. So to help you, you need to go back to revise your ratio analysis, and please, we are not looking for formulas. We know that you can cram. Some of us can cram. We know, but that's not what we're looking for. If you need formulas in your field of work, you could get it on. Just search your WhatsApp, your Google, like that. You get formulas. So you are now a professional. We're not expecting you to just give us formulas, calculate figures. We're expecting you to tell us the impact of the figures you have calculated. What do they mean? What do they tell of this company? For example, now let's say you calculate your gross profit margin. What does it mean? Okay, tell me your gross profit margin was 5% in this year. Last year it was 10%. Tell me what does it mean? Can you give me possible reasons why that has happened? So before I go into that, because we are going to look into all these one by one, I want to ensure that this lecture is detailed to the extent that once you just listen to this lecture, you have that confidence to go into your case study examination hall and defeat the examination, because I tell you, it's a war. It's a big war. So the confidence is all you need, because already you know what you need to know, as long as you have successfully taken the other courses and you pass them. Okay, how to write a report. Now this is one very important thing. Before I go on with this, I want to, let's just quickly do a test. Of course, I know you can't reply me, but I know that a number of you that are listening to me, about 90% of you have never written a report before. Yes or no? Is that lie? No, I didn't. So even if you are working, even if you are in the field, it's most likely that writing a report might not be part of your job portfolio. And even if it is, it might not be as detailed as the examiner would want you to have. It might not be as structured as your Ican examiner will want you to write. So that has been one major reason for failure. If you go and check all the examiner's comments for every diet for past years, not past years, for every diet in the past years, of course, I guess. So if you check the examiner's comments, one of his comments is that students don't know how to structure a report. They just write it anyhow, and that's why I just decided that it would be better to focus more on teaching students on how to write a report, and not how to do financial statement analysis, because they know all that. How to do your financial analysis, they know all that. What they do not know is how to write a report. And I assure you that if you're able to write your report well, you're on your way to success. And if you are not able to write your report well, you have a little chance of passing. For example, let me shock you. Now, the examiner marks in such a way that, okay, for example, let's say you are a student and you are writing your case study report and you entirely left out your executive summary. Let me just tell you that you have missed 20% of the marks that could be allocated, just because you failed to write an executive summary of 2 pages. You have missed 20% marks. You have lost 20% of the marks, just because you failed to do that. If you fail to put in your appendices, you have lost 10%. Don't worry, you will see all these if you just check the examiner, the question, you always see them on the first or second page. Yes, you should. That should be in your case study study text, so you'll see that. So you must ensure that you are writing a good report, and you're not also leaving the the sections that are needed. So if you write the report, and of course, because the executive summary is the last part to write, I'll explain that when we get there. It's the last portion to write. You must ensure that you are not, time is not fighting against you, because the moment you fail to write your executive summary and you have to submit, just know that you have lost 20% of the marks. You have lost 20% of the marks. So please, you need to focus more on this section I'm going to take you on, how to write a report. It's going to be an interesting session, and at Brain Edge Professionals, we are very good at what we do, and we want to ensure that you're not just taught to pass, you're also taught to know and to be able to teach others. Because what is knowledge when you can't teach others? That's how knowledge passes through over and over and over. So first, we want to ensure that you are grounded in what you know, and also you could pass this knowledge to others. As well as a professional, as a professional in your field, you might be needed to write a report someday. You wouldn't want to just do a sharply job like that. And so that's why I'll be taking you on this very meticulously, and I'll need your attention. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments box. Okay, now, yes, so as we approach how to write a report, one important thing you need to know is that we are going to crown content king. So like the slide says, we crown you king. Content, yes. So our content is king. Our content is king. In case study report, one thing you must always put in mind is content is king. Now, not content in terms of how lengthy you wrote. Some people will come out of the example and say, I destroyed that examination. You know what? I wrote 16 pages report. Oh, you'll be like, I just wrote 8 pages. But let me tell you, if somebody wrote 16 pages report, a 16-page report, and you missed out the executive summary, he has as well lost 20%. And even your case study text will tell you that it's not about the length of the report you have written, it is about the content it carries. The content it carries. The content it carries. Is it carrying what is relevant to the requirements? And that's what we are going to look at. I told you earlier that your requirement is very, very, very vital. If you fail to understand that requirement and you're giving what you feel you can, because one thing I don't want you to do, and that's why I'm taking you this before your pricing analysis, is that I don't want you to just focus on, maybe they will give us pricing analysis, we analyze it very well, we could even forecast. That could be very dangerous if that is what you are depending on. Why? Because when their requirements comes out, and let's say in a way the examiner successfully twisted it such that whatever you have been expecting from a pricing analysis is not what came out, and if you go ahead to write what you feel the requirement says, you have just failed. You have failed, and you're gonna pay another amount. You have just lost some money to Ican, and Ican is not. They won't care about that. They'll be happy because you're gonna pay more. You're gonna pay more. For example, you know the way the price for examination works, right? So content is king, and so I would like to take you on this. Content is king. Content not in terms of length, but in terms of relevance, in terms of report structure. I think I gave that in the next slide. So let me look at the next slide. Okay, yes, I think I did that. So content in terms of report structure. Sorry, I think that's because of the system I'm using, because when I created this presentation, it was showing properly. Okay, so content is content in terms of report structure, in terms of relevance, in terms of professional competence, in terms of the tone, in terms of the proper linkage, in terms of the comprehensibility. Now, let me start from tone, because I think that is kind of interesting. The tone that you use to write your report should not be informal. It should be formal. You're writing to mostly your board of directors, or probably you're writing to, it's on an official ground, basically. So you can't be writing with a tone that is, that kind of tone. You have to sound professional. You have to sound like you understand what you are saying, because of course, when you receive your case study report, the examiner will tell you that as a financial accountant or something like that. So they'll give you a particular status, and you're expected to write accordingly as is required of that status. So you're not just imagine you're writing like a bookkeeper. I debited, I credited. Who is asking you? You're a professional. You get a professional. So proper linkage. How can you link your report to your report, and from the introduction to the financial statement analysis to to the other parts, to the ethical trust part, ethics trust part, to the recommendations, to the conclusions, to the appendices as it were, also, and okay, comprehensibility should be understandable. You should write in clear terms, not that the examiner said will be. And also, yes, it's also important to know that you make your handwriting visible, because there's an award, there's a mark awarded for that, although it's not that much, but 1 mark will save you of half your examination fee. That's just it. I know you understand what I'm saying. Okay, that's well. Okay, relevance, very important. Professional competence, you're expected to bring in your professionalism. You're expected to bring in your professional skepticism. You should be able to question certain information that is given to you. For example, you are given an unaudited financial statement. You should be able to question the reliability of that statement. I'm using last year, the last diets, that was November 2020, as my base for explanation, because I just find the case very interesting. So Dotmark Nigeria PLC, they engaged in a particular kind of transaction because they had power supply problems. So they engaged into a contract with the power distribution company, and that contract requires them to pay money for which there was no receipt. Now, that raises an alarm. If you are paying money, there's no receipt. How did you record that in your financial statement? Under what heading? Under what name? Such kind of thing. Then your report structure, very needed. You don't just write your reports shabbily and expect to pass. You write your executive summary towards the end. You write your introduction at the back before your before your executive summary. All those kind of things. That's failure, big failure. Okay, I think this is my last slide for this free session. So if you want to go ahead with this lecture, you could contact the administrative block. The number will place at the end of this, and you could get access to the complete lecture. We are going to be organizing a pricing analysis that's brain edge professionals. We're going to be organizing that, but I want to let you know that our pricing analysis will not just be on analyzing. That's not our focus. Of course, it's a focus, but we also want to ensure that you are able to stand your ground alone to be able to write a report. It's going to be a 3 days lecture. We'll take you on the basic principles of case study for the first 2 days, and on the third day we're going to do our pricing analysis, and you are blowed up for success, I assure you. Okay, before that, so your report structure, in terms of report structure, that means coming from the content. We are talking about report structure now. From there, you have your introduction, you have your financial statement analysis. Of course, as I said, you'll be given financial statements to analyze, you'll be given financial data to analyze, and sometimes business analysis. You must just ensure that anytime you're bringing a business analysis, you must ensure that the requirements ask you to do so. So you wouldn't be doing what would not award you a mark. An executive summary, very important. You can see why I placed it in the middle, because once you fail to do that, you've lost 20% of the marks. In your cover, okay, so this is how the report works. From your cover page to the introduction, from the I failed to put my executive summary. But that should be a mistake in while I was preparing the presentation. So after your introduction, after cover page is your executive summary. After your executive summary, you have your introduction. And after introduction, you have your requirements 1, requirement 2. Then you could also put in your under requirement 2, you could put in your business concerns and ethical issues. Then you have your conclusions for both requirements 1 and requirement 2, and you have recommendations for both requirements 1 and requirement 2. And that's all that you need to do. 4 hours is what you have. 4 hours. 4 hours. 4 hours is enough, more than enough, to make 99 over 100. Margin of error. And I'm very serious. I'm very that's it. You could get more than that, more than what you think you can. So whatever you're thinking you can, if you follow these lectures to the very end, you can get more than what you think you can, I assure you. Okay, yes, again, to remind you, my name is Ican Marvelous. I'm a lecturer for business professionals, and as a way of reminder, we are having a pricing analysis for 3 days. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm gonna be teaching you more that you need to know to pass your case study. It won't take your time because I understand your paper or other papers, and they're as much as important, even as case study is important. So you could reach out to the numbers that will be pasted after, so you could get access to know about how we are running it. We are going to be running to the suitable platform where we could interact. On this means we can't interact now. It's just for you to get an idea of what you will be getting. So Ican Marvelous for Brain Edge Professionals. Thank you for coming to this lecture. Thank you for listening to me, watching me. I hope you had a nice time.